Hey, good evening. Welcome to my physics class. So this is back to school night. I just wanted to take you through a few suggestions and hints about how to succeed in the class. This is going to cover both physics and AP physics. So to start off with, my room number is room 407, and my contact information is on the screen for you. It's worth mentioning that my email address is probably the most effective way to communicate with me if you're trying to communicate with me from home. Um, I'm relatively good at responding to emails as they come, and I won't forget something if it's been emailed to me. So I promise to get back to you if you send me a note or a message or something. Through that, the phone number will ring in the classroom, but only after school hours, and so otherwise it'll send you to a voicemail. So phone will work, but the email would be probably more effective at communicating with me. So, all right. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of things. The first thing will be just the information that's on my website. So my website you can get to from the Curtis High School website, and so the website looks like this. This is my personal classroom website, and so there's links either to physics or AP physics or cross country if you want to see more about that. So let's go to the physics, general physics website first. Some things to know on there, and this would be on the AP physics site as well, is I have a daily agenda posted. So this will take you through pretty much everything that we do any given day. So that's really helpful, I think, for students when they're absent to know what they missed, because it'll just be updated each day. So you'll be able to see what the plan was and the assignments that were assigned and when they were due and all those kind of things. The other thing on here, of course, is the syllabus. Just wanted to point that out. That's there. Hopefully you've seen that already. And then when you scroll down, you'll see other links to different things, including websites, and some of my lectures are posted on there as well. Same thing would be the case for the AP Physics website as well. Has all those same things as well, just for that class. Okay, so that's a pretty good, useful resource, I think. Those things are also linked on Google Classroom, which I'll talk about here in a moment. I have a few suggestions in terms of how to support your students and how I can help with that as well. I would say number one, I think this is a human nature sort of thing. If students are struggling in class, I think they tend to want to hide that. That's just a human reaction. But I would really encourage them, and it would be great if you can encourage them to overcome that to some degree, to be able to ask questions in class. I think that's a really, really big deal. If they're not understanding something, if they're welcome to interrupt me at any time in class, I'd much prefer that over them being silent and not sharing that they're not understanding something. I'd be willing to go back and cover anything that needs to be covered as long as I know. So just I hope that they know that they feel safe to do that, and that it's just a really important thing that we don't move on without them understanding what we're doing and how to do it. The other thing I think that you can support your student with is by following along online to see if they're missing assignments, when big things are coming up, or when grades have been posted, what has been left undone. I think that's a really useful thing for students to know, that their parents are aware of that. And so just so you know kind of how it works, at least with my class, Skyward is definitely the place to see what students' grades are. I'm very efficient at getting those in. Anything that's been turned in, I just about automatically put into Skyward, and that's where grades are calculated, and that's going to show you whether or not something is truly missing or not. Google Classroom is a great resource, but what I don't use it for is to populate grades. It's really to share assignments and to go over things where students can access them. So I wouldn't trust Google Classroom to know if something was missing or not, or to know what the student's grade is. That's not how I would use it. It would be for Skyward. So definitely check Skyward as regularly as you feel necessary to, just to know what's still missing and what students need to do to improve. It'll show what their grade categories are and all that. So now, as far as Google Classroom goes, let me show you a few things about Google Classroom. So here's a typical class of mine. I'll switch to that. This is the front page of my first period physics class. And the stream view will show you kind of a sequential list of everything that's been posted up until now. Now the classwork tab I think is more useful. If you click on that, it'll kind of categorize them based off of chapters. And so you can go back and look at past assignments. You can see what's been posted, what's going, what's most recent. And so really I use that to share assignments with students. That's where pretty much all my assignments are going to live for the most part. And students generally turn them in there. Not always, but most of the time students turn their assignments in to me through Google Classroom. To me, it's a little bit cleaner and efficient that way. So I can get homework back more quickly to them so we can go over things. So that's kind of where they will live. That's where assignments would be. So if you click on any particular assignment, it'll have a link to that actual document or whatnot through that. So anyway, a few things about how the classes are organized. My regular physics class has a weight of about 35% category for all of the major classroom activities that we do, including in-class labs and any homework assignments, 35%, and then 15% of their grades are based off of chapter quizzes that we take, and then 50% of their grade is based off of the tests that we take a couple times a semester. AP Physics is much more test weighted, 70% tests. We don't have quizzes leading into them, but they do take practice tests before those tests. And then 15% of their grade is based off of their general classroom homework assignments, and then 15% is based off of labs that we generally conduct in class. So just to kind of run through what the main topics are going to be in physics, we've got motion in 1 and 2 dimensions. We have forces, energy, momentum, circular motion, oscillations, which is repeating motion. And then if we have time at the end of the year, depending on pacing, of course, waves, sound, and light, and electricity and magnetism are things that we may cover at the end of the year. And so I want you to notice something. This is regular physics, and then here's a list of topics for AP Physics. They're the same. We cover all the same topics. Not exactly at the same pace, but relatively close. Definitely the rigor and the complexity of problems is higher in AP Physics, but the topics are generally the same. Now, notice here that not all of these topics are covered on the AP test, all the way through oscillations. These topics are things that we may cover after the AP test is over, but all of those other things are found on the AP test, which brings up an important option for people. If your student is in a general physics class, not an AP physics class, and they're doing really well, they may very well want to consider taking the AP test anyway, because we're going to be covering those topics. And so I've communicated that to students already. There is a deadline, meaning we have to order those tests at some point. And so those conversations will probably maybe need to start happening next month for students that feel like, yeah, I'm doing really well. This is really easy for me. I feel like I'm really successful in this class. If you want to be prepared to take the AP test, even though you're not enrolled in AP Physics, that is still a possibility. I can support them with whatever assignments they might need to be ready for AP Physics. We'll kind of figure that out. But we would need to kind of make that decision before November 1st so we can get that deposit in and we can make the test, get the test ordered. All of the students in AP Physics, I would hope and assume that they'd be taking the AP Physics 1 test. That's kind of the test we're preparing for. But something to know as well is that there is another test that kind of aligns with it. That's called the AP Physics C test, which is covering the same content, the same topics. It just involves calculus to some degree, whereas the AP Physics 1 test does not. So I've already told them this. They're very strongly recommended to consider taking that test as well. Even if they don't have a background in calculus, the weighted amount of how much they would need is not that great. If they understand their physics really well, they would still pass that test, which is college credit. So they could potentially, if they take both those tests and do well on both of those tests, they could finish AP Physics with 2 college credits instead of 1. So that is a really great option for people. So anyway, if you have any other questions for me, if I can help in any way, please reach out to me. Again, I'll go back to the first slide here. That's my contact information. Email address is probably the most effective way to reach me. But however you prefer, just I'd love to hear from you and want to be on your team to help your students succeed. So thanks, everybody. All right, have a great day.